Today I'm going to be joined by an artist, creative, a thinker, a personality that goes by the name of Males Are Canceled. That's MALES are canceled. This one's going to be a good one, y'all. This is someone who is a God. Where do I even start with somebody like this? Males Are Canceled. Also goes by Cindie Xin. Makes really incredible work. Does everything from memes to art direction to hosting on Adult Swim. We're just super excited to have them join us today. Go through everything, really get into it. We're going to touch upon everything from identity to sexuality to just making real shit and having a voice and saying things that like really fucking like matter. You know what I'm saying? And actually being able to like stand up for your shit, yo, and be fearless, right? So that's a lot of why I really, really, really wanted to have this conversation with Males Are Canceled, is because I just think that their approach is something that's super complex, and they're able to look at issues that I think other people might just kind of, I don't want to even say brush over, but I think that there's a certain way that they're able to look at these issues and be like, yo, like, nah, like there's more sides to this, right? So sometimes they post things and I'm like, holy shit, like I didn't expect you to like say that. So this is going to be a really good one. Thank you everybody who's been listening. Of course, the art, right, is one thing. I was talking about how you make memes, how you do art direction, how you're just involved with all these things. You're a host on Adult Swim, all this stuff. But really, I was saying, for me, a lot of what I love about what you do is that you approach things in a way that I think is super complex. And I think it's not just like this kind of like, oh, I'm super whatever. I'm super left. I'm super woke. So I'm going to say this. And it's not like, oh, I'm, trying to be like hella problematic. So I'm going to say this. Like, it's like, you never know how you're going to approach any topic. But I always love that the way that you approach it, it feels very thought out and it feels very nuanced and it feels very real.
Thank you. Damn. I thought you were going to call me problematic, which I would have taken with grace.
No, I mean, listen, this whole podcast is problematic, but I think that you're problematic with thoughtfulness. And basically that means you're not fucking problematic anymore. So it doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, I feel like cancel culture, or I have no problem with cancel culture because I still think that it's an effective approach to, I don't know, like giving victims a voice. But at the same time, it has created kind of like a polarized atmosphere online where I think people are more inclined to reiterate things that they hear that they know, are the right things to say, rather than kind of thinking about things and developing their own opinions.
Yo, that's facts. That's so real. And that's something I was just saying on here the other day. I was like, yo, y'all, at the end of the day, the biggest minority is the individualist, is the free thinker. You know what I'm saying? So no, I totally agree with that. Well, I talked about you so much, but I would love for you to just introduce yourself, just kind of, and whatever that means for you. You could go into stuff as much as you want, but I would just love for you to, just tell the people who you are.
Okay. Damn, I feel like I'm gonna be really bad at this, but I'm Cindie. I just ate some fried rice that I cooked because I'm just starting to like try to learn how to cook Chinese food, even though I'm Chinese. But I fucked up because I put too much soy sauce in it. I guess like I mainly I feel like I haven't made a meme in a minute, but I mainly made memes on Instagram and posted them on my page, which is at males underscore are underscore canceled. And that led me to my current kind of like creative community, which was brought together by Jin Kazama, who's another memer. And I think through that, I kind of gained access to other opportunities. Right now I'm working on an Adult Swim show called Bottom Text. It's a live stream show on the digital channel, and it's once a week. And besides that, I guess I've always been really interested in a lot of different disciplines and try to do what I can art-wise. But I don't really have a formal background or whatever in art, so I just kind of do stuff on my computer that I feel like. I don't really feel like I have like a specific stance. My is like males are canceled because I do think like I feel like the patriarchal structure of society is definitely a problem, and I think it's important to like always be cognizant of that. But at the same time, like I don't know, there's more nuance than that, but I guess that's like not the only issue that I care about.
No, definitely not. And I think like once people follow you and once people know what you do, I think it's super clear that that's definitely not the case. But speaking about that, you are really open about like just coming at these things like sexism, racism, societal oppression. Like you're super like, you know, especially if someone follows you on Twitter, you're like every day at it. And I just wanted to know like, where did you even kind of get the confidence to speak out about these things just like so straight up?
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like people ask me that a lot, like especially in my personal life, I guess, and like online and in my personal life, but I feel like it's just always been my personality. Like growing up in school, I was kind of like always that kid who would like get in trouble for like yelling stuff during class. So I think I've just kind of always been an outspoken person. I like can't keep a secret and I can't shut up, you know, like if you look at my Twitter, you can see that I just like can't shut up. So I think like but then like, I feel like I care really deeply about a lot of these issues. And I feel like, I mean, like not to sound like the Joker, but sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, everybody wake up. So I think that kind of just translated into just like yelling online about issues.
Well, you know, I think that's pretty interesting because even just going back to what you were saying kind of before that, how did you even get into making like art at all? Because you said you don't have a formal background, right? Mm-hmm. You were the loud kid in class, right? So tell me how you even got started, even like whatever it was, like Photoshop, whatever. I don't even know. Like, how did you even like start doing this shit?
I feel like I mainly, when I first got into art, honestly, it was because I was on Tumblr in like 2012. All throughout high school, I just made a Tumblr account and started seeing like Tumblr art, which like now looking back, it's kind of just like stuff that's easily accessible for teenagers, if that makes sense, even though it may be like not really sending a good message, but it would be stuff like poetry on like a pink background or like edits where it's like some like white girl's lips and she has a gap tooth. And I'd be like, oh my God, this is so deep. So I think like that's when I realized that like art is how you like feel things. I think like, you know, I feel like as an adolescent, everyone kind of like is trying to figure out like what life is like, right? And I feel like for me, it was always like, oh, I consumed art to feel things. And like that was the thing that I liked doing. And then obviously like, I don't know. I feel like I just started making stuff for fun. I can't even remember. Like I made memes, like me and my friends in middle school and high school, we would like make memes about kids that we didn't like in school and stuff like that. Like it would just be so stupid. Like we'd upload a picture of them to like those like meme generator sites and then put text that's like, I am annoying or something. And then just send them to each other and laugh. And it was kind of stupid, but I think like, as a kid, you like do stuff like that without thinking about, you don't think about what it means or like what the response will be. You just kind of think it's funny, you know? So I think I've always just been someone who like made stuff for fun. But I think with like more, I guess I started like taking it more seriously, like when I started getting traffic on my meme account, which I also made for fun, I think, because I would like make memes and post them to my Finsta. And then I just was like, let me make a public account. And it was like anonymous at first, so I could make things about like people that I knew, like starter packs and stuff. But I think like, I don't know, I just crossed the hurdle of being able to feel like I can make whatever I want. Before I felt really like pigeonholed into like making memes. But I think I'm like going off on tangents.
No, that's lit. No, please don't worry about going off on tangents. That's yo. If there's a place to go off on a fucking tangent, it's right here on this show. So like, please, like, go on mad tangents. Yo, so all right, because I'm about to go on a fucking tangent. You know why this is funny to me? So it's so crazy. You were talking about you and your, you know what I'm saying, your homies, like your clique, y'all would make memes and shit to make fun of people like who y'all ain't fuck with. You know what I'm saying? And to me, this is wild because like me and my niggas, we would just fight people. Like, we would just be like, yo, like, if someone talks shit about us online, we'd be like, all right, oh, word, nigga, you come into my timeline with that shit? And we would just go off. And dead ass, like, it would be crazy. Like, we got into, like, up until, like, I'm telling you, up until, like, senior year of college, like, we were still fighting motherfuckers. I mean, granted, like, I'm from a slightly, from a slightly older generation than you are when it comes to, like, the internet, right? Like, I graduated in high school in, like, 2009. So, like, that's, like, my generation. But, like, we had memes and shit, but we didn't think about how we could use, like, a meme to, like, actually, like, that's a way healthier way to handle people you don't like. We was just like, yo, like, we would just keep that shit cool, whatever. We'd be like, yo, I don't really fuck with you. And then wait till somebody says some shit on one of our timelines or in some event that one of us made on Facebook. Oh my God, we was at that motherfucker's dorm room like it was nothing, yo. So that's what's fire about that shit. It's like, I really
what you have to realize though is that you could probably win a fight. You know what I mean? Like, I would not be able to beat anybody in a fight. I admit that, which is why I have to resort to like sneak dissing them.
I love that shit, man. No, listen, either way, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so funny how different people handle different shit. Mm-hmm. So, all right, so you talked about like 2012, that was like the Tumblr era. And you talked about kind of doing the Finsta memes and stuff, but like, when did you start like publicly sharing your memes? And then what was the reactions that you got that made you feel like you wanted to keep doing it? I'm
going to be honest, like, there's this like 2-year gap of my life, which is when I started that meme page, that I literally like can't remember because like my mental health was so bad at that time. I feel like I would, I did the thing where I would like lie in bed and not like eat or get up for like 3 days and stuff all the time. So I would just like it's like there's like holes in my memory from that time. But like I just remember like the ending of that era started like, well, like, cause at that time I was like in college and I was like really miserable there and I hated it. So I like dropped out, and that's when I feel like, I think when I dropped out of college, that's when I felt free. And that time, like, I think I had like 5,000 followers on the meme page and I didn't post that much. I probably posted like once a week or something. But at that time also, like, the Instagram algorithm was different. It was like way easier to get on the explore. I was telling someone, like, I've only ever gotten 10,000 likes on a meme one time. And it was when I had like 1,000 followers, because back then it was so like when you hit the explore page it like blew up, so that's kind of like a tangent, but I think like that literally made such a big difference for me though, like when stuff first started hitting the explore page, just like the dopamine of having like seeing all the notifications, I think made me feel like, oh my God, I should keep doing this. And I think like the way that like the human brain works is like I'm like really like I feel like the way that I think about, was that a car in the background?
Nah, it's actually, it's lit. It's just like mad people are just like keep joining the, you got the block hot, yo. This shit is just popping. It's just lit. It's lit for you, yo.
Oh my God, talking.
No. So So what I mean, not even to cut you off, but this made me think about something. It's wild. I just and I just want to go here. I don't even necessarily want to like we don't have to stay on this. I'm just like bringing it up because I have my own kind of experience with this. It's like
you're good.
It's interesting. Felt like even Feltzine, right? You know, me, Dev and I are really the ones who like work on like Feltzine like every day. Of course, there's like Chris and Lou, Alexis, people, just mad people. You know what I'm saying? Mad people who are fam. But like the daily, like Dev and I are always doing this every day, and it's interesting because the time when it grew the most was actually definitely the time in my life when I was like depressed as well. Honestly, I would say like I went through this thing where I was depressed and I didn't even know I was depressed. I didn't know I was depressed until I got out of it. And so I just want to ask you this, just for anybody who's going through their own shit right now, kind of like if you feel like you're out of it, and like I said, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too personal. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, drag anything down, but what kind of helped you? What's helped you? What's helping you? Yeah, just, I don't know, if you don't mind, I just would love to like just touch upon that a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I think that's really important to talk about, especially online, because I think most people who are online a lot are people who are probably, a lot of people who are, not most people, but like a lot of people who are online a lot are struggling with a lot of the same issues. But I think like, I don't know. I feel like the most important thing is to know yourself, because there's like no, there's no like one solution. There's no like one lifestyle fits all. And I think like most of the people who end up, experiencing really bad mental health, like the reason that people are so mentally unhealthy these days is because of like, largely because of the pressures of capitalism and like, like the pressure to be productive and like the difficulty of like feeling valuable and feeling like there's value in your life because of all those pressures. And I feel like the people who get pushed into depression usually are people who are marginalized in some ways and don't like fit into the you don't fit in as a fucking like cog in the machine of society. And then society is like, oh, it's because something's wrong with you. But actually it's because like society is designed in a way that like prioritizes and benefits one certain type of person. So I feel like for me, because like I feel like I lied to myself for a long time, but like I've realized now that like what's necessary for me to be happy is to like feel like I'm part of a community and feel like I'm close to people. And I think like looking back, like at the times when I was the most depressed, that was the times when like I had the least people around me that I felt like supported me. I was like in environments where I felt really like, I didn't belong. So, but the fact that I was able to like find this kind of creative community that I hang out with a lot now that makes me happy, I feel like to me that feels like a miracle. And that's not like, I don't know. But at the same time, if I had taken this advice and gone back, I would have like made choices differently in my life. I would have like prioritized whether or not I'd be comfortable like over maybe like how productive it makes me seem. And the other thing is I think a lot of it is just like finding something to do. That sounds so, not like finding something to do, but like doing stuff that makes you happy. I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of just really vague terms that you apply to your own life, but like the exact same thing wouldn't apply to someone else's life. And it's like when you take advice, like, how when someone tells you that you should exercise and you'll feel better, you get really mad at them. You're like, are you fucking serious? Like, do you really think I'm going to go for a run? But then like, if you actually go for a run, you do feel better afterwards. And you're like, fuck, they were right. But then the next time they say it to you, you'll be mad again. So it's kind of just like, I don't know. Sometimes you just have to like work on things slowly by yourself.
Yo, that's so real. It's like, damn, it's so real you said that, because for me, it's like, I think about something that it's so real what you said, just about like finding your community and finding people you really fuck with, because like, that's the one thing I always say. Like, I always ask like my friends shit, cause I'm like, bruh, like you could tell me what I should be doing better than like I could tell myself, kind of thing. But then like, it might take me like a good 2-3 weeks to like really do that shit. But like in the back of my mind, if I fuck with you and you tell me like, yo, bro, you should do whatever, like do what makes you happy or some shit, then I know like, oh, okay, nigga, that's what they think. That's probably the case. No, that's why you said that. I definitely think that that's real. Well, one of the things that I wanted to ask you, because I don't know, just because I just find this so interesting, is you talked about how you're not how you haven't made a meme and actually like a good while, right? With that being the case, right? One thing
I've made memes. I just haven't posted them.
Oh, well, hey, look, I feel that. I fuck with that. I like that. Okay, so fair enough. But you have been posting shit, and the shit that you posted, you got to tell me more about your process. Just because I think this shit is so like I think I get it, but I mean, I don't know if I should call you like a model. Like, I don't even know. Like, it seems like I know that you're doing art direction on these things too. Like, talk to me about like, the process. And we have the links up when we post this on when we get this out to the feeds on like iTunes, Spotify, and all that shit. Well, yeah. We'll make sure that we have like the links and everything to what you're doing. But, like, talk to me about through those, because you have these like portraits, like, and can you talk to me why you make these portraits, how you make these portraits, just like break these down, because I got to know about these.
I feel like I feel like my creative process is just like smoking weed, and then sometimes I just do something, but I don't know, like, I guess what I kind of compare it to now is like YouTuber culture. You know how like YouTubers, a lot of them, I guess some of them just do the same thing, but like the YouTubers that are really popular, like people like them because they kind of do something different every video. Like they'll be like, oh, I'm going to do a mukbang today. And then next week I'm going to do a makeup tutorial. And then the next week after that, I'm going to film a video like pranking my friends or something. And I think like when I was looking at that, it made me realize like, oh, like they are viewed, they're not viewed as a page. They're viewed as an actual personality. And like, they talk into the camera and people look at it and they like absorb it. And I think like that made me feel inspired to feel like, oh, like I'll just take the same approach, except my medium isn't really videos. It's just like social media, like mainly Instagram and Twitter. So I think like the whole thing with like the photos and makeup looks and stuff are just things that I've always been interested in doing, but never really had the confidence to execute. I think like I was always like self-conscious about not looking the right way to do it. And like now it's like, okay, I'm like East Asian and like I'm like pretty light. And there's like, as far as like being models goes, like East Asians are not oppressed, but it's like I think I still kind of felt a lot of that internally, but then now I don't know, I think I just like tried it. But I think like a lot of it is just having an idea and then something like, oh, I like this meme, what if I painted it on my face? And then I'll think about, is it realistic? And then I'll like try to think if it's realistic or not, and if it is, then I'll do it.
Yo, I have to say though, I think it's super interesting that you were well, okay, so I'll just say what I fucking gotta say. My wife's Chinese, right? And and whatever people could say whatever they want about this, but she considers herself like a dark Asian, right? And so but I think it's interesting because there's a lot of things that, and she works in tech. And so there's a lot of times where she's like, oh, I'm not like really a minority, or I'm not like, we're not really like necessarily like marginalized in the same ways. So I think it's super interesting that you touched on that, but and maybe I'm speaking for you, but what I see in a lot of what you do is, even if in yourself, like the way that you're presenting yourself, even if you don't think that there's a lack of representation, to me, I feel like you are trying to fight for representation, maybe not for yourself, but maybe for others. And I think that that's really dope, because I think that then this is just me personally. I'm black. I'm black as fuck. I'm nothing but black. But for me, I think one of the things that's like dope that Asian people can do and that they should do is actually be like, yo, white people kind of accept us a little bit more. So we need to actually take that opportunity, not to just come up, but to actually like be like, yo, pay attention and listen. And I think it's really dope that you do that. So I don't know. It's not even a question. I'm just saying it because I think it's a thread that I see a lot. And I think a lot of the progressive East Asians have also kind of maybe take on that responsibility. Did I just make that shit up? I don't know. I would love for you to respond to that if you're interested at all.
No, for sure. I think that's like a really important thing to bring up, because I feel like with a lot of East Asians, like, I feel like all of this is like, I hope this isn't talking too much shit, but like most of this you can just see reflected in like Andrew Yang's campaign. I feel like that's like a perfect reflection of like the problem with Asians. Cause like basically, okay, first of all, he like plays into the model minority myth when it like benefits him, right? And I think that's like a big problem with East Asian people specifically, is that like maybe I don't know about like most, but like a large number of like East Asian, like East and South Asian people who are my age right now in my generation, like their parents came over as like a part of a wave of immigration where like, you know, they have jobs like being engineers or scientists. So they grew up with like, that's where like the whole tiger mom stereotype came from. You know, it's like people whose parents were really focused on education and want them to go to Harvard. But then I feel like this group of people just like has trouble figuring out an identity within that, because they're like, okay, we feel marginalized because we feel like we don't belong, right? Like that's definitely true. But then like it kind of is expressed in the wrong way, right? Like I think a lot of them, they express frustration with other people of color because they feel like other culture, like other immigrant groups and like cultures of color within the United States, like they feel like they're more robust, and it's like Asian people kind of don't really have anything, like everyone just like pretends to be something else. So I feel like a lot of people feel frustration with that, right? And they like take it out by being like, oh well, like why did so many people go watch Black Panther but not Crazy Rich Asians? And it's like, okay, like what, like you literally work at like an investment bank because your dad knows your boss. Like, shut up, you know, like it's stuff like that I feel like people lack nuance in their understanding. But overall though, I feel like what you said about like East Asian people being like slightly more palatable to white people that's definitely true. And I feel like a lot of times like East Asian people especially become tokenized as kind of like the people of color that like white people can like view as white, right? And it's like, I feel like a lot of people have used that to just like assimilate into whiteness in a way that benefits themselves, like especially in art and fashion. Like if you see a lot of these like top influencers who are Asian American or like Asian British or something, like they act white. You know, they'll post like one picture where they're like eating dumplings like once a year or something, and it like gets a lot of
facts.
like that's all, right? That's like all they speak on their culture. They don't say anything else, and like because of that, they're like really palatable to white people. And it's like, yeah, do your thing, like make your money, like I respect that, but at the same time, like you can't act like that's like actually uplifting anybody, because that's not even like uplifting like young Asian people. Because it's like when I was a teenager and I was looking at these like Asian fashion bloggers, the message that I got from them was like, shit, if I want to succeed in a creative industry, I need to like pretend to be a white person. So I feel like,
oh man,
you know, and like now I think like now that I am like trying to have a voice within creative industries, what I really want to do is to like create kind of like unique, to have like my own voice, right? It's like all about, I just want to be myself, but also like, you know, incorporate things just like be on, just be honest. I think that maybe that's just like the conclusion, is that I just want to be able to be honest. And especially like within, I think I'm talking too much, but like especially within comedy, which is like something I'm like kind of in now. It's like humor. Oh my God. I feel like humor is like a culture's sense of humor is kind of like one of those things that reflects like people's most like inner and innate values, you know, because it's like a subconscious kind of thing that's like whether or not you laugh at a joke is like a subconscious connection in your brain that's like based off of your like your full stack of your understanding of society, you know, like, and things like that. So I feel like people's like by trying to create like ways for people of color or like Asian people and like people who are women or gender non-conforming to like have a space within like comedy, I think that's pretty important to me.
Yo, I'm so like the fact that you even brought up comedy is so important. Yo, have you ever been around like white people and shit who's scared to laugh at something that's just actually fucking funny? Because that's another problem we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you know, especially for you, yo. I mean, like, yo, like I do this podcast. Sometimes I say funny shit, but I have that whole thing where like I'm not trying to be funny. So when I'm funny, people like laugh a lot. But you're actually trying to be funny, and you are funny, and you know, like you're getting into comedy. I would call you a comedian for sure. And we're gonna talk about the show right after this. But one of the things that I'm worried about for you as you get deeper into this comedy shit is like, yo, you say a lot of shit that, yo, white niggas gonna want to laugh at this shit and they're gonna not do it, and they gonna look at you, their face is gonna get red as shit, and they're not gonna be able to laugh at it. And I mean, I'm
gonna look right back at them and be like, you better not laugh.
I love that shit. Yeah, put that pressure, apply that pressure even more. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we all been there. You know what I'm saying? It's time to turn them tables. I'm fucking with it. One of the things I want to touch upon, because I'm not going to talk about this if I don't just take a moment to stop now. Mm-hmm. Kind of window. You gave me a little bit of a segue, and I'm making a stretch, but I know everybody who's listening wants to know about this anyway. You talked about the fashion industry. But I want to talk about your style, because I love your style on the gram. That's one thing. But yo, when I'm watching the show, when I'm watching your show on Adult Swim, Bottom Text, I love all your outfits. I love the fits you put together, and it just seems seems so unique and like, I hate when people say effortless, because I'm someone who gets like, if I'm gonna say so myself, I get pretty fresh and you know what I'm saying? Even to put it together effortlessly, it takes a lot of curation and thinking and just knowing what your body does when you put on certain clothes. Right. And so I would love to just talk to me about your style. Talk to me about just talk to me about this your fashion, the style shit. I gotta know like what's up with it? What's your inspirations? What brands you like? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing when it comes to style, yo?
I feel like I should be asking you.
Hey, listen, this is your interview. I'm saying I'll talk about my shit tomorrow. This is about you right now.
Okay. I feel like, yeah, what you said about like the whole thing where like you have to know yourself and know your body and how your body moves when you said that, that's so true. Cause I feel like it's all about like, I don't know. I feel like when you look in the mirror, a lot of times like you see your shortcomings, whereas like if someone else looked at you, they wouldn't notice it. But that's kind of off topic. Anyways, though, I guess like honestly, like I think I get most of my clothes from the thrift store, just cause like I'm kind of broke all the time. But like, and then occasionally I'll like see something I really like and then like spend $100 on it or something and instantly regret it. But then stop regretting it like 6 months later when I finally wear it. But it's like, I feel like my style inspiration, I like also during that like Tumblr era, I was just really into fashion. Like I was really into Alexander McQueen and stuff. And in high school, I would like live stream everything from like New York Fashion Week and stuff. Cause I was like in the middle of nowhere. But, I don't really know like how I would say my personal style developed, but I feel like a lot of it has had to do with like my gender identity and feeling like, cause I identify as non-binary and I like definitely don't really feel comfortable with like femininity or whatever, in general. But at the same time, it's like, I need to be fresh. Like that's, I made a joke once to my friend. I was like, can I just like put my gender identity as like being a fresh person? It was a joke, but
I'm with that. That's my gender too. Yo, that's my new gender too. Yo, I'm a fresh nigga. That's it. Yo, I'm loving that shit.
You should make a meme like that. But then we'll both get canceled though by the white SJW.
Yo, I don't give a shit. Yo, I'm fresh as shit. You fresh? That's the gender, fam.
Yeah,
that's the only gender that's the only gender that I really identify with my goddamn self.
Oh yeah, and like and also I feel like recently though it's like celebrities, like how like Lil Uzi Vert dress, like how if someone wore that like 10 years ago, like no, people wouldn't be like, that's fresh, you know what I mean? So I think it's cool to see like people exploring like gender, like bending gender like norms or whatever through their style. And I feel like that's kind of like, I like connect a lot with like how I present myself. I feel like some people like, they just feel like I know who I am, like regardless of what I'm wearing, like I'm the same person inside and I feel comfortable. But for me, it's like if I like go to the gas station and I'm like wearing an ugly outfit, it's like I'm embarrassed to get out of the car, like where, and so that's always mattered so much to me. So I feel like for me, it's like I have to dress a certain way or else I like can't leave the house. So it's like, it's almost like how I cover my insecurities. But fuck, I was supposed to be talking about what brand, like what kind of.
No, that's it. That's good. That's good. No, listen.
Yeah.
Let me say this, yo. I identify where you're going with this so hard. Yo, when I was in school and shit, I used to I used to not go to class, or I used to just skip class. I would leave a class because in the middle of the class, I didn't like what I was wearing no more.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I did that like quite a bit, like a lot, like more than any human should do that. Like if I don't like what I'm wearing, I honestly, I can't go outside. Like I'm even to the gas station, all that, like, just like you said, like, yo, if I don't like if I don't fuck with what I'm rocking, it's just not. And yo, one day I could love a pair of pants, I could love what it is, and the next day I'm not going outside wearing that shit. Like I just can't. Like it's a certain like energy you get from the clothing. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And it's like I feel like, especially like as someone who like grew up as a woman or whatever, it's like people always tell you that like, oh, like if you care too much about how you look, it's because you're like vain or whatever, right? So I feel like I internalized that so much and felt like, oh, like I can't care that much. Like I would like force myself to go outside looking bad because I'm like improving my character or whatever. And then I realized like, what the fuck? Like literally, like I feel like white people created morality to keep us down. Like there is no such thing. You just have to do what you want. And
yo, that is so real. I love what you're saying about that. And it's so interesting because first you talked about, like your perspective, respecting that, you identify as non-binary, but you talked about growing up as a woman and, people telling you like, okay, this identifies with one thing, presenting yourself. But then you also talked about like the racial dynamic of it, which I can totally identify with because, yo, there was times in my life where I would be like, damn, like, like whatever. And especially like in past years, especially when I was like way younger, I'd be like, dude, like, I don't have a lot of money, but I want to wear fly shit. And they'll make you feel like that's ignorant. Like, that's what black people love to do. Spend all their money on clothes and jeans. And I'm like, but dog, like, this is what I identify with. This is what makes me feel good. This is what makes me feel like who I am. And you're so right. They use these ideas of like morality and like decorum and like what you're quote unquote supposed to be doing to basically make you feel embarrassed about shit that you identify with.
Exactly. And it's because like, for example, like the fashion industry, like Western fashion was like designed, like Cause like the way fashion works is that like, you know, this season is based off last season and last season is based off the last season. And it's like goes way back in time to like the first like collection, right? But it's like, who made the first collection? It was like a bunch of like skinny white people. And then like, it's always been like that. And it's built on this legacy where like style, like Western style in itself caters towards like the way that thin Caucasian people look. So it's like when they say that like in order to be presentable, you have to dress a way that like makes thin Caucasian people look good, then like when you're not that demographic, you're gonna look bad and it's gonna make you stick out, right? But then they try to act like it's like professionalism or whatever, when in reality, all it does is it's like intentionally like making, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
it's like
100%. 100%. No, I'm with you. Oh, you know what? I'm so glad we did this. This is like the best anti-fashion fashion conversation ever.
But we love looking fresh.
Exactly. And we love the shit. And that's the thing is like, at the end of the day, I think, you know, I hope I can speak for both of us when I say this. The reason why we're this passionate about it is because actually we appreciate and love this shit. It just needs to be way more inclusive.
Exactly.
That was fun. I'm so glad we were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So because people that, first of all, you're probably not reading it, but people in the Discord are like so excited and they're going crazy. And that people are asking about is like, yo, when is her show? What time is the show? And sorry, they're saying her. So sorry about every time I do that. One thing you understand, like I always apologize on this show. Yo, at the end of the day, I'm also type hood. So anytime I misgender you, I'm sorry about that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and identify that and say sorry about that off rip. So my bad. I hope you can forgive me as we have this conversation.
No, you're good. I think it's like in an ideal world there would be no gender, so it's like I wouldn't even care. It's just like some people I know that when they like I know that some people like hate women, so when they say she, then I get mad.
I fuck with that. Oh, that's huge. That's heavy. I like that. All right. So where I was trying to go, you are a host. You are a original member. You are a part of the core of something that I think for a lot of us who grew up after a certain time, right? Like, we feel like this is in a lot of ways like one of the, how would I even put this? This is kind of like one of those like milestones of pure, like unique creativity. And that's actually being on Adult Swim. And so I would love to talk about, I would love just for you to tell us like, one, how you got involved with the show, and what it's been like. I mean, you just got recently, you know, y'all are doing a second season. Y'all got 2 seasons in this motherfucker. Talk to me about the show and tell people, when they could catch it and what it's about. Like you gotta break this down.
Yeah, Bottom Text is a live stream show about memes and internet culture. I would say I feel like the best description of it is that it's kind of like a video podcast. 'Cause it's like very freeform. It's kind of just like 4 friends hanging out. But we look at memes. We basically, every episode we look at memes, talk about them, and then we make memes. So it's like we show the kind of like meme making, brainstorming, and just like the apps that we use on the phone and stuff. So it's like kind of a lot of different stuff coming together. I'd say it's fun because I think it's unique because first of all, I think the thing that like makes the show vibe is the fact that like we all like each other. Not only do we all like each other, we were all friends before the show started. So it kind of like feels less like a show and more like it's just like 4 friends hanging out. But it's cool.
That's true. I mean, I would say like, you know, I've been a big fan of the show. I mean, I'm not even going to front. Like, I liked the show, and just so people could know, it's Bottom Text. I think it comes on Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Yeah, I think that's what someone said in the Discord.
And it's it's on adultswim.com/streams.
And yo, it's like it does. It feels completely organic. And one thing that I love is exactly what you said. Like, y'all are like screen recording your phones as you do this shit. Like y'all are like really like making memes like live. That shit is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I have a huge appreciation for the show. And for me, like one of the things about it is that's true. Like it definitely feels like y'all have known each other like forever, and then you basically just like get to the studio and just make it happen. So I love it. I just want to congratulate you on that, and I think that I feel like for this generation, this is something that's like super important. So congrats on that, and I wish you all the best of the luck with this entire project and with this show.
Thank you so much.
So can you tell us, if you can, the ones you can tell us about, but what are some of the things you're working on, and what are some of the things that you have coming up?
The biggest thing I'm dropping very soon. I've been working with their at is ada.wrong, but their name's Jillian. But we've been working together kind of like, actually I'm just gonna, she's in the chat right now. So I wasn't gonna talk shit anyways, but I'm gonna sound weird. Anyways, I followed her since I was like in college, and because it was so cool to me, because when I saw her meme page, it was like she had like a kind of like, I don't even know if it's post-ironic, but like a post-ironic approach that was like funny and like interesting to like Asian American issues and like the experience of like being perceived as like an Asian woman and stuff. And like, to me, that was like mind blowing, because it was just like so cool to see like such a relatable perspective on like something that was really personal to me, you know? So anyway, but like, I have like the miracle story of like becoming friends with the person that you're their stan. But we're working together now. We're dropping a hoodie really soon.
Nice. Can you just say that one more time? One more time. Yeah, I think you might have broke up a little bit.
Oh shit, sorry. Okay, so we're working on a new project. It's called Virtual Goods Dealer. It's going to be a virtual marketplace for virtual goods. Very mysterious. But we are dropping a hoodie in collaboration with our friend Bod, who is an electronic musician. It's coming soon. I can't tell you the date yet, though.
No, that's really hype. Well, one thing I want to ask about that is like, because you mentioned this earlier too, there's this perception with, especially I think with like Asian Americans, right, where they're kind of just like assimilating into another culture. But I think that both you and Ada Wrong are doing a lot to like really, like, I don't even want to say doing a lot to break that, but you just don't follow that shit. And like, for y'all two to come together like this, I don't know, man. Like that shit is like super inspiring to me, and that shit is just like mad exciting, because I think that there's a lot of potential that can just be explored, and just a lot of shit that hasn't been said that needs to be said. Like I don't know, like, you know, like for instance, I especially when I come at this as, you know, as someone who's like black, right? Like it's like, especially as a black American, it's like sometimes I start doing shit and then I'm like, oh, damn, like niggas did all this shit in the 70s. Like, God damn, there's not that much for me to say. Like, niggas already did this. But I think y'all are at this other intersection where it's like, y'all are almost at like the vanguard of this shit. And y'all are doing shit. Y'all get to create I don't even say create, but it's like, I don't know. When I look at y'all, I think I look at y'all like that. It's like, y'all are almost like these like artistic, like Black Panthers or some shit. Like not the fucking Marvel movie, but like the real militants. But y'all's weapon is like the internet. Like that shit is wild. Like you're talking about digital marketplaces and shit. Like niggas don't even understand what that shit means yet, yo. Like, that shit sounds like wild, yo. So, damn, props to y'all, man. That shit is wild.
Thank you so much. I think like the most important thing is that like I think like creatively when magic happens is when people are able to be in a space where they can be themselves, you know? And I feel like, you know, back to what I was saying earlier about like Asian people like kind of pandering to whiteness in their creative work. I feel like the flip side of that is like trying to like be too woke, if that makes sense, you know, like trying to just like tie in these like deep sounding but kind of vapid topics into like everything that you make, you know. And I feel like that's kind of the case for a lot of what I feel like the Asian diaspora like creatively has created thus far. And I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, because I feel like that has to be done and like people do connect with that. But I think like what I think is unique about our collaboration is that like both of us is just like, we're just like doing things that we like personally. And it's like some of it is like, maybe it is like tied to like being Chinese, but most of it is just like shit that's tied to like, you know, being a young person in America. And it's like, I think most of the time, like, we're not thinking about like, shit, is this going to make people like honor their heritage? We're thinking like, is this fresh? You know, like, I feel like the goal is to like increase the number of fresh Asians and decrease the number of unfresh Asians.
Ooh, that's such a beautiful mission. It's so dope. It's so dope you said that. You know, it's so, look, like, it's so wild. I remember when it was me, it was Dev, and it was Luis. We were doing this interview, we were doing this collaboration with Diesel, and they asked us like why we even do Feldzine, why we even do what we do. And the one common thing for all of us, the one thing we all said was, we just want people to feel like they could be free. We want people to feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want. And it's so dope because I think for all of us, you know, especially for those of us who come from, you know, and yeah, you know, there's different levels to this shit, but like anybody who comes from any type of marginalized community, like even just like I don't want to say just, but even if you are a, you know, white male, but who's queer, like you feel this too. And it's like, yo, like we have to feel like free, like motherfuckers got to be able to like express themselves unapologetically, like not like, oh, I'm going to say this, but I'm worried that this person might read this, or like when you're able to express yourself freely, like without any mental block, and you could put that shit out to the world. I don't know. I think that's one of the most beautiful things that we can do as humans for each other.
Yeah, and I think that's what I love about Feldzine too, is that I feel like y'all are really like, cause y'all are really like a celebration is how I view it. Like, I feel like you really celebrate all the things that you share and all the things that you put on. Cause in the art world, I think a lot of it is based on, you know, like pretentiousness, like curation, like what's the best, you know, perfectionism. But like, I don't think that's where good art comes from. And especially like within marginalized communities, like you're never going to fit into that like perfect kind of like box, you know. But like, I feel like what y'all do is like you work with different types of artists and like you bring people together and like make people appreciate like the things about art that like are dope. Oh fuck, I feel like I don't have like the art vocabulary, you know what I mean? But like dope is kind of just like the word I can settle on.
I want to be doper than anything else. Like I want to be dope, and that's it. Like that's perfect. Thank you, thank you so much for saying that, because that's exactly why we do what we do, and I think you captured it perfectly. So thank you. The last thing that I want is some curatorial artist statement to describe what the fuck I'm doing every day with my life. So thank you. Listen, we've been here, yo. We've been here we've been here a long time. I could talk to you for hours about everything. So thank you. You're gonna have to come back at some point, because
that would be sick.
Yeah. This shit is perfect. But what I would love for you to do is just tell people where they could find you on whatever social media channels you're on. If you're on TikTok, you can drop that shit too, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. But just let people know where they could find you, because already this has been one of our most popping episodes, and I know people are gonna love this shit and they're gonna want to, like just have you as a part of their daily lives, especially on the internet. So let people know where they could find you. Let people know where they could watch the show.
All right, that was fresh. So I'm on Instagram at males_r_canceled. I'm on Twitter as it's the same, but it's no spaces, males, and then the letter R, and then canceled. And I think that's all I'm on. And and you can watch Bottom Text. It's tomorrow. I guess today's Tuesday, so it'll be tomorrow, Wednesday, 11 p.m. on adultswim.com/streams. That's 11 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, and also if you can't watch the stream, you can also watch old episodes on adultswim.com.
And yo, let me just reiterate something my nigga just said. They're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, and they're not on shit else. So if you see any of these fake ass accounts pop up, you know what I'm saying? Report them shits. Report. Don't let that shit slide. I'm not gonna let that shit slide. You know what I'm saying? You got the official accounts right here. So let that shit be known, yo. If you see people copying my nigga's likeness, shut that motherfucker down.
Thanks.
Yes, I got you. Anyway, y'all, thank you. This has been the Mark Digital Live podcast. I'm Mark Digital. You can find me at Mark Digital HD. This whole podcast, this whole movement that we do is produced by Feltzine. That's FELTZINE. We love y'all. Thank you for listening. Males Are Canceled. Cindie, thank you so much for being on this show.
This is so much fun.
Yo, my nigga, I've been so excited about this episode for so long, and it did not disappoint. It actually broke my expectations. I feel so hyped. I'm in like a rap battle right now. I just want to scream. I want to jump on stage.
Yo, you gotta roast.
Thank you. Huh? What'd you say?
I said you gotta roast me now.
Oh, yo, listen. I'm not the one to do it. I just got the excitement. I'm not roasting you. You're like 99% done with your training to be like the next poppin' comedian. Yo, I'm about to see you about to have a Netflix stand-up special. You feel me? I'm not doing this with you. You gonna murk me, yo. I'm about to just get the fuck out of here before this shit turns on me right now, yo.
All right.
Anyway, yo, thank everybody for listening. As I said, this has been the Mark Digital Live podcast. Peace, y'all. We out.
All right, bye.